I'm sitting in the basement of a church. It's on a Saturday and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. And I've been up since 4 that day. Did I mention it was a Saturday? And I was at the Vice President of Education training session. It was the very last one that we managed to squeak in before the deadline. And it was my job as VP of Education to make sure that we had 4 officers trained. And I was the very last officer. But I was happy, even though I was tired, because I was the only VP of Ed there. It was just me and the trainer, and I thought, maybe I get to go home early. No, that didn't happen, unfortunately. Mostly because my trainer, Sandra, very nice lady, said to me, Donna, what are you doing about the Competent Leadership Manual? Making sure that everyone in the club is bringing their manual to every meeting and getting it all filled in, making sure that they're all learning the different projects. And I said, Sandra, I had this really great idea. I have all the manuals with me all the time, and I bring them to every meeting, and I distribute them and make sure they're all filled in, and I have spreadsheets and I track things. And Sandra said to me, Donna, you're crazy. Why are you doing this? How can anyone possibly learn about leadership skills if they don't physically have the manual in front of them? And you just bring it to the meeting, they do a roll, and then you all go home. Don't do that. Stop that now. And I thought to myself, Sandra does have a point, because I was away unexpectedly for 3 weeks in February, and I had all the Competent Leadership Manuals locked in my drawer. And guess what? No one filled anything in for those 3 weeks. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and no guests, I'm here today as the Vice President of Education, and I am going to be giving you a little bit of information about the Competent Leadership Manual, because we have a lot of newer members here that really haven't read the book because they haven't had them. I'm going to be introducing something called a project matrix, which I've handed out to everyone. And we're just going to be going over a new procedure that we're going to be putting in place going forward on how to fill in the Competent Leadership Manuals. And before I begin, does everyone have, it might not be theirs, but does everyone have a copy of the Competent Leadership Manual in front of them? Because we're going to be flipping through things. Gary doesn't have one. Here's a really old one for you, Gary. I don't. And you don't have one either, okay. Here is a newer one for you, Matthew. So now that everyone's has one, let's flip to the very last page. I'm hoping that Gary's, which is really old, will have this. Oh, and of course I have Raja's, which does have the right one. It is, thank you, project completion. Is at the very back, as you can see that. Now this is a breakdown of every single thing that is in this manual. As you can see, there's 10 projects to complete, and each project gives you a certain kind of skill, a leadership skill that you need to work on. And we're not going to go through all 10 of these projects because we don't have enough time, and everyone's probably going to fall asleep on me by then. But we're going to look at just the very first project, and the first one is listening. Now the listening project, if you turn to page number 6, we're just going to go quickly through it. All of the projects are set up exactly the same way, but they're just for different skills. Now the listening project, first of all, what it does is it explains to you why it's important to use listening in leadership. As we all know, we've had some team leaders sometimes that just don't listen, and things don't turn out very well in that way. We always have a self-assessment survey that you can fill out where you can find out how well you're already doing in the listening skill. Then they give you some tips on how to learn better skills. For example, lean forward and watch everyone intently when the speaker is speaking, and that shows that you're gaining your listening skills. And lastly, there are, if you flip the page over, 4 roles that you can fill in the meetings that help with your listening skills. And they are speech evaluator, of course, table topic speaker, Au-counter and grammarian. Now in our case, the au-counter and grammarian are combined, so you could just be an au-counter and grammarian twice in 2 different meetings. And if you check the back of the manual, there are 4 roles, but you only need to complete 3 of the roles in order to complete that project of listening, and then you can go on from there. Now, of course, every role that you have, you won't go sequential. You might be working on listening in one meeting, and then you'll jump down to facilitation for the next meeting. But the important thing to remember is, when you have this leadership manual, and you're scheduled to, let's say, be the general evaluator, you can look through the book, find a section about the general evaluation, and tailor that to what you need to learn. Because not only is there listening, but there's also team building, time management, facilitation. And when you at least read this book through, you'll be learning more and more skills and how to use them in the roles. Now, if you look at the project matrix, Sandra actually gave this to me, and at first I kind of looked and went, it looks the same as the project completion record that is at the back of the book, but it's sorted by the roles, so you can quickly look at this. And Nero, for example, she's the general evaluator for today's meeting. So she looks down at the general evaluation, she'll see that that's project 2, project 3, 5, 7, and 10. So then she can look through her leadership book and go, oh, what do I need to work on today? And what I'm going to be doing at the end of the meeting, which I hope we'll have a few minutes for me to do this, is to give everyone their manuals back. I've also taken this project matrix. Anybody who I have their manuals, I have marked off what projects you've already been doing or what roles, and I put your name on it. I have a copy, and you will have a copy. So that way, you can quickly look at this and go, oh, well, you know, I haven't really been the table topics master lately. Maybe I should get Donna to schedule me so I can work on one of my projects. And that's why it's important that we bring our manuals to every meeting along with the project matrix. And all you have to do is hand it over to whoever's sitting next to you. As long as they're a Toastmaster, they can fill that out. And they will answer the questions, and they will also evaluate you, how you do. For example, if you're the timer, they might write down, oh, Donna forgot to mention why time is important. So they read that and go, okay, next time I'll remember to do that. Evaluation from that book is also a very important thing to do. So do I have any questions from anyone? Does this make sense to everyone? Yes? So in conclusion, what is the important thing for us to remember, other than that Donna's a micromanager? But you know what, I am working on this. This is step 1 right here, is to stop being such a micromanager. The important thing is to remember to look at your manual and check on what project you are going to be working on through the roles. And let me know if there's anything that you would like me to schedule you to do. And very important, bring your manual along with your project matrix to every meeting, and make sure that your neighbor fills it out for you and gives it back at the end of the meeting. And this way we will not only grow as individual Toastmasters, but we will also grow together as a club. Thank you.